Hi, Kenyan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a great week and
Mm-hmm.
excited to be back talking more about business architecture.
That's really good. Last time we discussed business architecture and how clarifying the path, right, is very crucial first step in mastering strategy execution for a greater impact. So, like today, we're going to deep dive into business architecture and how this can transform the way of organizations manage and optimize their resources. To start, Kenyan, could you describe how business architecture aids in optimizing resources within an organization? Like, what are specific methods used that to identify and manage dependencies effectively?
So, like ultimately, business architecture gives a really clear view, across an organization. It allows us to see exactly where those dependencies, lie. When we're talking about dependencies, we're really highlighting just how interconnected our organizations are, right? That interconnectedness is what makes up what we commonly referred to as system, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like in this context, that system is our organization. And so business architecture is really just highlighting for us exactly where all the interconnectedness within our organizational system are. And we can take that understanding to start to gain a little bit more understanding around the decisions that we need to make from day to day. So within business architecture, when we get to the point of physically creating like these architectural layouts or blueprints of what our organization looks like, it highlights for us exactly where those dependencies are, where that interconnectedness is, and how the varying parts then of our organization work together. So if we are going to apply some type of strategic change, or we're going to apply a decision, maybe a resource or to a specific department or staff role or function within our organization, or we want to impose a new policy or maybe remove a business rule, we can see exactly the effect or the ripple effect that decision or that new goal or what have you makes across the whole of the organization, right? So when we have that type of insight, we can start to be a little more proactive in understanding how decisions create bottlenecks within our organizations, how it can create certain inefficiencies that maybe we were not clear or we're not sure would occur as a result of our decisions. And on a flip side of that, right, on a more positive side, having that visibility where we see this interconnectedness and these dependencies can also help us make decisions that, when implemented, would create a ripple effect that actually improves our operations across the board, right? It can smooth out how we're functioning. Maybe there's just one particular, say, capability within our organization that needs to be improved upon to really remove the bottleneck or clear up the inefficiencies that we're experiencing across this fully interconnected system. So that's the power of business architecture and what we gain from practicing business architecture, and that it allows us this great visibility that then gains us this opportunity to start to make decisions that we can, or make smarter decisions based on our understanding of that interconnectedness and those dependencies.
Got it. Thank you for that, Kenyan. Now, in connection to that, could you discuss more into how business architecture specifically helps in reducing redundancy within operations? If you could share any examples where this approach has led to significant improvements.
So, within business architecture, we speak a lot about capabilities. And I like to look, or at least explain capabilities as the various skills or resources that our organization must have in order for it to function, for it to do its day-to-day work, right? And so some examples of that may be well, we have agreements, and we have partners, and we have staff, and we have technology, we have strategy, we have all these other different resources, and all of them have to be managed every day, and managed to a certain level of efficiency for us to be able to move our operations along, which in turn allows us to move our strategy, our strategic goals along, right? And so when we talk about redundancy, what we're really talking about is the duplication of those skills and resources across our organization, and in some ways serving the same role or same purpose, and we're in some ways potentially funding the duplication of those skills and resources in our organization without really knowing that we're doing it. I see this a lot when organizations want to adopt new technology systems, for example. So technology is really an enabler of the capabilities and that our organization needs. So, we can have a situation where an organization who is using, let's say, a particular CRM system, a customer relationship management system or tool. And within that system, they're able to capture maybe certain client information. And they're considering, let's say they're starting a new program in that organization, and they're looking to adopt other CRM system. And maybe the system, they don't necessarily classify it as a CRM system. Maybe they just, classify it as a client database or something. Mm-hmm. Well, these two systems, even though they're serving different programs, could contain the same capabilities, right? They could enable the same capabilities. Let's say going forward, this organization decides to adopt, this other technology system, and now they have these two technology systems that they're paying for these two separate projects, and without realizing that the two technology systems are enabling the same capabilities within the organization. And so what that means is they have now created a duplication of a skill or work effort that really potentially could have been consolidated, and therefore reduced, costs that they are expending now on their technology. So business architecture, because it gets into, the nuance of what are all the very specific, capabilities, these skills and resources that are within an organization, and lays them out, and then links it to, okay, well, if these are all the capabilities that our organization needs and has, where are we utilizing this? Where are these capabilities and skills showing up? What staff, what technology are utilizing these capabilities? And so when it comes to making a decision about a new technology tool and assessing what the needs of that technology tool is, we'll start to lay out the capabilities that we need, and we can go back to business architecture and say, oh, well, if we look at our existing capability map, we actually already have a tool within our organization that's providing us these different capabilities. So maybe we can leverage our existing system to support this new program for adopting a new technology and now paying for it. Or the reverse could be true. Maybe the new technology supports our old technology and adds some additional capabilities that support other areas of our organization. And maybe we want to sunset then, this old technology and adopt a new one. So there are, again, it's taking us through this process of being able to make more informed decisions, because we've gained this level of transparency that can, follow us through whatever scenario our organization, is in, to make us, much more efficient in how we are, utilizing the resources that we have.
Got it. Thank you, Kenyon. Now, seeing these improvements in action highlights the value of business architecture. So now let's talk about efficiency. What impact has implementing business architecture had on enhancing operational efficiency? How does aligning resources more closely with strategic goals lead to better outcomes?
So I think built into your question really is this larger question of what is the value of business architecture? And I think we talked a bit last week about first step in business architecture is understanding the why, right? Understanding, what is the reason that we would even want to embark upon taking on the practice of business architecture. And it's the same thing. Business architecture, its value can really be wrapped up in, three primary impacts. One, it helps to improve our decision making. And the scenarios I provided before about, making a technology decision, really highlights, where business architecture comes in to help us improve decision making. It also enables strategy execution. And so, this is probably one of the most utilized roles or functions of business architecture across organizations that have adopted this practice and discipline. And then thirdly, its value is that it helps to create organizational alignment, right? And so I like this part of business architecture because if we are in what we might define as a fragmented organization, in that everyone is kind of working their own angles, but no one's coming together to generate their work collectively. So when our aim is really to create organizational alignment or better connection between our strategic goals and our resources, we need that organizational alignment. Getting there means creating a level of traceability across the organization that really connects the resources we have to those larger strategic goals. And we can first do that by breaking down the goals that we have into, the set of actions that we want to pursue within our organization that we've defined as the steps that we want to take in order to achieve this goal. And so we often think about those as, the initiatives. What are the initiatives that our organization will undertake as a way for us to start to execute work and begin to achieve the goals that we have, in our strategy. So after we've identified those initiatives, before we start trying to implement, what we want to do is then understand, well, what in our organization really needs to shift or change in order for us to deploy these initiatives. And that's really the space where business architecture begins to come in. And when we start to build that out and define, okay, what's the end-to-end the end-to-end value that we are seeking to deploy? What are the capabilities that are going to help us, leverage that value or move value through our organization and allow us to begin to hit these objectives that we've defined for the initiatives that we want to undertake? When we do that, then we'll start to see the alignment of that goal down to the actions that we take, and then with those actions, what resources are necessary, right, to fulfill those actions, right? And so that creates the traceability, and that is where business architecture, has that impact of creating that organizational alignment. And so, again, we see business architecture kind of being within an organization or helping an organization to see its framework and, be able to make decisions, that fit within that framework and help support the continued build-up, right, of the organizational framework, so that its strategies and its goals can actually be executed successfully. So
very well said, Ken, and thank you for those detailed insights. Now for me, it's really clear that this approach is very important for organizations aiming to align their strategies with effective execution. And I know we'll delve deeper into strategy execution in our next session, and I'm truly looking forward to it. It's always a pleasure getting to know more about you as Architects Pillar. Kenyon, thank you again for sharing your insights today, and I'll see you next time.
all right, thank you.